So my number one tip, if you're going to be using an aqua soil in your aquarium, I definitely recommend Hello everybody and welcome to Tye-Dyed Iguana. My name is Collin and today we're in the fish department. Specifically, we're going to be talking about different substrates in your home aquarium. So the first type of substrate we're going to be talking about today is, of course, our classic aquarium gravel. So aquarium gravel is found in a variety of different sizes and textures. Here at the store, we tend to carry at least 5 or 6 different varieties. They'll be of various colors, shapes, and sizes. So aquarium gravels can be as small as something like our Zen Garden, which is a very, very fine, smaller than a pea fine size. So similar in properties to sand, but it's a lot heavier. It's going to stay down. And then we, of course, have larger size gravels like our jelly beans here, which are a nice, large, rounded texture stone. In addition to our natural colored stones, we also have a variety of synthetically colored gravels. So, of course, one of my personal favorites, actually, we have this Spectra stone, which is this neon day glow color. Really interesting if you like that type of look in your aquarium. Aquarium gravels, we know they come in a wide variety of sizes. Aquarium gravels can be an excellent choice for the beginner aquarist in the home aquarium for several reasons. So first are, they're readily available in a variety of sizes and textures and colors. So if whether or not you're wanting a more natural or a little bit more of a decorative look to your tank, these can be a great option. The second reason is, if you have gravel in your aquarium, this is the easiest type of substrate to clean. So you can get your siphon gravel cleaner really deeply inside there. You can clean up all that detritus and organics that have accumulated in your substrate. So for that reason, gravel can be an attractive option, especially if you're a real neat freak about keeping that tank's biome very clean. Of course, gravels as well, they also can support live plants. Some plants do prefer sands over gravels, but that's for a different video. But you can also have live plants in with gravels. So that, in my opinion, makes it another exciting choice for your home aquarium. One con of using aquarium gravel would be, with most gravel products, unless you're mixing different textures, it's going to be a very uniform consistency product, so it may not be the most natural looking if you're looking for that piece of nature in your home. The next category of aquarium substrates would be sands. So there are a variety of different sands on the market in various colors and textures. When it comes to sands for your aquarium, I do recommend buying sand from a reputable shop. Reason being is, if you'll see videos with people saying, use pool filter sand, use play sand, use black diamond sand. That can work. However, comparatively, you are going to be rinsing that stuff for days. So obviously for the beginner aquarist, you don't want to spend 4.5 hours rinsing aquarium sand you got at the hardware store. You want something that's pre-rinsed and pretty much ready to go. Aquarium sands come in a different variety of sizes and colors. We have different sands like our sunset gold sand here, and we have a white sand called our moonlight sand, and then we also have some black sands. So those can be an exciting option as well. If you want a more naturalistic look, a pro tip can be to mix the colors of sand. That way you have a more naturalistic tank at home. With sand, some downsides can be sand can be agitated very easily. So if you have a lot of fish in the bottom that are agitating that sand, it can cloud the water a little bit sometimes, especially if there's lots of larger fish in there. They go towards the bottom and stir that sand up. Now, having said that, there are certain types of fish that do require a sand bottom or do best in a sand bottom. Some great examples of this would be like things like stingrays, geophagus cichlids, and of course Corydoras catfish. Those fish, all with their bottom dwelling behaviors and the cories with the soft barbels on the face, they definitely need a softer substrate on the bottom, so sand would be almost a must for those species. Next type of substrate we talk about for aquariums, we're going to lump it together. We're going to call it aqua soils. There's various types of aqua soils on the market, but in the particular type we sell, it's called Aqua Solum, made by our friends over at Aqua Vitro. This is a humate substrate, so this is going to have several advantages, especially for a planted tank or a low pH aquarium, or if you're wanting a sort of like self-sustaining system, aqua soils are going to be a must. When it comes to aqua soils, typically they're made of those soft volcanic or humate compounds, so this has to be taken with a little bit of caution because these need to be used in a certain way. If you are using an aqua soil in your tank, I definitely recommend you're going to want to cap that with something. So whether or not it be a layer of gravel or a layer of sand, these do require some sort of layer of encapsulation. Otherwise, if anything agitates the top of this aqua soils break down over time and decompose. Unlike your gravels and sands, aqua soils will break down over time, so you may only get a few years out of a tank with aqua soil before it needs to be redone. So that can be one disadvantage in the fact that you need to cap these. However, advantages of aqua soils, they're really conducive to plant growth. So unlike our gravel and our sand, these are actually going to provide nutrition for live plants in the aquarium. So if you don't have live plants in your tank, you're probably not going to need aqua soil, but if you do have live plants in the tank, aqua soil can benefit you greatly. However, of course, this usually needs to be done at initial setup. You can't necessarily add aqua soil later on top of gravel because you're going to create a mess. Honorable mention, I'm going to lump it into the aqua soils category, but we also have fluorite sand. So what is fluorite sand? It's a little bit different than a conventional sand in that this is a porous clay gravel. So fluorite sand can be an excellent option for planted tanks when you're capping aqua soil. It can be used on its own as well. But this product is never going to break down, unlike the aqua soil. But for plants that really prefer having sandy or loose substrate, this is going to be an excellent option. It comes in a variety of colors and sizes. They make a larger material size and then this smaller size, which we carry in store. This is available in both black and brown. But I do lump this into sort of the aqua soil category with your planted tanks. So my number one tip, if you're going to be using an aqua soil in your aquarium, make sure you're capping it off with something. As well, another pro tip, if you're wanting to do a more naturalistic textured tank, try to incorporate larger stone elements and decorative elements into the aquarium bottom because, of course, in a creek or a river system, it's not uniformly one substrate across the bottom. Another tip would be, if you want to have some sort of natural element incorporated in, you can try any of our decorative aquarium stones to go along with your substrate. And of course, you can always incorporate a larger gravel material like our aquatic river pebbles from our friends over at ZoomEd. That can add a really nice texture, especially if they're sprinkled along a hardscape or kind of cascaded throughout the home aquarium. If your aquarium is home to animals or organisms other than fish, as well, you do need to be mindful of the fact that certain size aquarium gravels can be susceptible to being swallowed. So for example, if you have a turtle tank and that's your aquarium, you definitely want to make sure you have a soft substrate, like using an aquarium sand, or make sure you have large enough rocks in there that the turtle cannot physically swallow them. This goes for some larger fish as well, vacuum feeders like axolotls especially, although technically an amphibian. They can suck in substrate as well. So keep in mind, guys, if you do have an axolotl, make sure you stick and go with the sand route if you're going to be utilizing a substrate at all. If you have any questions about the pros or cons of any aquarium substrate, be sure to drop in store or send us a message online. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.